One of my first memories of being the son of a military member was facing the reality of deployment on the son end when my dad deployed to Vietnam. Back then, it was hard to keep in touch. We had Mars radio, where you had to say over after every line you spoke. Some of you remember that. Some of you may also remember reel-to-reel tapes. My dad sent a reel-to-reel tape to us every couple of weeks, and we had this big reel-to-reel tape recorder, and when we got the little box that the reel-to-reel tape came in, we'd break it open, and we'd listen to my dad's voice. It was our way of connecting with him. It was his way of connecting with us. Nowadays, fortunately, we've got a lot more technology. Saw the website here, drop a data line. We've got Skype, we've got cell phones. We've got all sorts of ways to keep in touch with our kids. But however you do it, you end up having to do it from long distance, and that makes it tough for military members. Now, there's also a lot of low-tech ways that we can maintain our connections with our kids as military members, and there was a story that I was reminded of a friend of mine who is a judge advocate. He told me the story a couple of years ago, just after he deployed. Before he deployed, he gave his son a jar of jelly beans and told his son that if he ate one jelly bean every day, that by the time he got to the bottom of that jar, Dad would be home. So his son, named Tristan, ate a jelly bean every day. Well, one night, they were sitting there watching television, and Tristan was out of sorts and went off to his room. After a few minutes, his mom went looking for him, wondering if there was anything wrong, went into his room and found Tristan there holding this big jar of jelly beans with his mouth full of jelly beans. And his mom said, "Tristan, why are you standing there with your mouth full of jelly beans?" He said, "Well, I figured if I ate them more quickly, Dad would come home more quickly." So even a low-tech way of keeping in touch with your family, of connecting with your family, will often work. It's a struggle. It's a struggle for military men and women when you know that your family needs you, but your country needs you as well, and you find a way to serve both roles. Over the past year, the Air Force has designated the year as the Year of the Air Force Family. And in that year, we've paid special attention to the support that we provide our military members who deploy and the families who remain back home. We ask whether we're providing the right support, and as a judge advocate, part of my job is to provide them legal support, just as our doctors provide medical support and so on. And as we have looked at ourselves and how we deliver services to our military families, we've realized that even though we've been at war now really for the last 20 years, if you think about it, since Desert Storm, we've been involved in conflict after conflict, each of which has required our military men and women to deploy to various parts of the world. We've taken a look even below that and realized, I'm sure not for the first time, but finally recognized that our kids, on average, move 6 to 9 times during their school years, kindergarten through 12th grade. And I was one of them. I went to 4 different high schools in the 4 years of high school in 3 different countries. There are some benefits to that. I met my wife in my senior year of high school in England, and last weekend we celebrated our 31st anniversary. So there are benefits to the life we live, but there are also challenges. And recognizing the fact that our children move on the average of 6 to 9 times has made us realize that there are lots of challenges that are very difficult for our children to live with. And having a loving and supporting father is absolutely essential to helping them deal with those challenges. Now, I want to thank all of the organizations that were listed here as sponsors for this event, sponsors for this program. I know the programs that a number of you support, sponsor, and I'm not going to go into details about each sponsor. I just want to thank you all for the support that you provide, because while the time that our children have with our military parents is precious, the support that you've given us has made that precious time productive. I would like to specifically, though, thank the National Fatherhood Initiative for the kiosks that you all have provided to us around the world. The notes I have say 78. I saw on the screen it was 81. Thank you so much for helping our families stay together while our fathers are deployed. So let me close by congratulating Sergeant Marston and his boys, Jake, Tyler, and Brandon. Sergeant Marston is a C-17 loadmaster. And for those of you who know what that means, I don't have to explain it, but looking out in the audience, I suspect that most of you don't know what that means. Having come from Air Mobility Command, I'm very familiar with Air Mobility Mission, and what Sergeant Marston does is basically take care of the business end of a cargo aircraft. He makes sure that the supplies, the equipment, and the troops that the Air Force transports all around the world are transported effectively, quickly, and safely. And he himself just came back from a deployment in March. But even when he's not on a formal deployment, as a loadmaster, he travels all over the world every day and is away from his family. Despite the fact that he's deployed here as recently as coming back in March, and that he's gone a lot in his job as a C-17 loadmaster, I'm proud of the fact that not only has he managed to take care of his family in a way befitting of the role model he is, but he's also helped a lot of other fathers with the challenges that they face. He's been what we call in the Air Force a wingman for lots of other dads. And having been through it yourself, having been through it myself, I thank you for being a good wingman for the folks that you influence. I'm very proud of the fact that this year the National Fatherhood Initiative selected an airman to receive this award. I'm particularly proud that they've selected you because the accomplishments that you've achieved as a military dad really are examples that we can all follow. So congratulations again, Sergeant Marston. Thank you all for your support of the military. And thanks for being a great airman. Thank you.